课程了，所以我们今天欢迎李沁老师给大家做一个报告。报告的题目是英语辩论示范课及研讨，标题是 Argument， 大家欢迎。
大家下午好。刚才杨老师说不打瞌睡的方法是 speaking in Chinese， 我补充一句，还可以用 thinking in English。重点不是 English， 是 thinking。为什么呢？因为我的学生有学生跑过来跟我讲，老师，我上你的课最痛苦了，因为我老得思考，我一思考我就头疼，但是头疼呢，让人无法入睡。因而也就不会打瞌睡。所以刚才呢，杨老师把今天下午的笑话已经讲完了。他是给大家带来欢乐，我呢会让大家感到头疼。但是不管怎么样呢，应该都能保持清醒。我们这也是殊途同归，咱们也算 teamwork。我在最开始接到万老师的召唤通知的时候呢，我是把这个环节完全当成课程来对待。因为它叫示范课，所以呢，接下来的这几十分钟，我会完全把这个教室，会议场当教室，把大家当学生。当然，我从来没有过这么这个宽敞豪华的教室，因此此刻我感到非常渺小。然后呢，我也没有过这么高端的学生。另外呢，其实我个人非常想坐在这个学员席上，过2天我就会去美国去当学生了。那么在我出去之前呢，这也是我最后一次讲课。能有荣幸能有这么高端的学生，我内心感到非常的感激，也非常感谢万老师和出版社的所有同仁和所有来参会的老师。希望大家在接下来这几十分钟里，除了头疼还能有所收获。那么有2点：一，我的课程就是一直以来这也是学校的规定，是必须用英文讲。所有的课件以及语言，包括学生呢，都必须用英文来进行。第二个呢，这个授课的背景是非英语专业的同学，就是他可能完全没有演讲或者辩论会任何赛事的经验，也不需要有。那么这一节下面来的这节课呢，是我整个 syllabus 中间的第2次课，也就是打基础的这个阶段，零基础的学生，希望他们能够知道从接下来的这个课程中间理解 argument， 因为这是整个课程的基础。Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see everybody again. How did you enjoy the beginning of the new semester, right? It's the second time we met. Last time we have talked about speech basics, including pathos, logos, ethos. This time we're going to lay a very important foundation for the entire semester. I preview. It's called argument. The first question is, I believe you may also have this question as well. What is an argument? Is this a new word? We already have some understanding, right? Now we're going to watch a video first. There's only one thing we need to pay attention to while watching this video. Answer the question, what is an argument? You can take notes. But I would want to remind everybody ahead of time that there are 2 persons speaking in this video. They speak relatively fast. It's okay if we do not understand every word they say, but let's try to catch the main idea and answer the question, what is an argument? the volume okay? Okay? Can we hear the back? Thank you.
I told you once. There you go. Yes, I have. When? Just now. Maybe. Yes, I did. Didn't. You did not. I'm sorry, is this a 5-minute argument or the full half hour? Oh, just a 5-minute one. Thank you. Anyway, I did. You most certainly did not. No, let's get on to the right here. I most definitely told you. You did not. Yes, I did. You did not. Yes, I did. Didn't. Yes, I did. Didn't. Yes, I did. No, this isn't an argument. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. It's just contradiction. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. It's not. It is. You just contradicted me. No, I didn't. Oh, you did. No. You did, just now. No, nonsense. Oh, look, this is futile. No, it isn't. I gave you every argument. No, you didn't. You gave me an argument. Well, an argument's not the same as contradiction. Can it? No, it can't. An argument is a connected series of statements to establish a definite proposition. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. It isn't just a contradiction. Look, if I argue with you, I must take that in contradiction. But it isn't just saying no, it isn't. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Argument's an intellectual process. Contradiction is just the automatic gainsaying of anything the other person says. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. No, no. Thank you. What? That's it. Morning. I was just getting interested. Sorry, the 5 minutes is up. That was never 5 minutes just now. No, it was. No, it wasn't. Sorry, I don't have to argue anymore. What? If you want me to go on arguing, I'll have to pay for another 5 minutes. But that was never 5 minutes just now. Oh, come on. This is ridiculous. I'm very sorry, but I told you I don't have to argue, it should pay. Oh, all right. There you are. Thank you. Well, what? That was never 5 minutes just now. No, I don't have to argue, I just paid. I just paid. I did. I did. No, I don't argue about that. No, I'm very sorry. Aha! Well, if I didn't pay, why are you arguing? Gotcha. There you are. Is that? If you're arguing, I must pay. Not necessarily. I could be arguing in my spare time. I've had enough of this. Oh, shut up. If you throw me out.
Okay. Did it speak fast? Okay. Did we hear the word argument? Did we hear the answer to the question, what is the argument? Some keywords? Any keywords? What keywords? Oh, excellent. All right. Almost got all the best things about the video, right? Did you hear contradiction? Yes. Contradiction. Proposition? Establish a proposition. It's a process of establish a proposition. More like that. Okay. We're not having an English listening class here, so I think you will love this document. This is every line of the sentences in the video. Okay, so M is the man looking for the argument. It's the man in glasses. He knocked at the door, walked in, and he tried to speak with the other person, the arguer. Okay, so take a look. No problem? Browsing through this document, you see after M walked into the room, A has been contradicting with him from the very beginning till the end. Whatever M says, A says the opposite. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Right? So this is the first question. I'm sorry, just one moment. Is this the 5 minutes argument or the full half hour? Just the 5 minutes. Obviously, there are two different kinds of argument here, right? Finish? Okay, moving along. Finish? Contradicting each other again. Okay, this is the time they mentioned contradiction for the first time. Finish? Okay? Back and forth. Did you hear the word? This is futile. Futile means useless. Okay. We came here for an argument. The argument isn't just a contradiction. Here's the sentence. Very good response there. Is a connected series of statements to establish a proposition. Okay? If I argue with you, I must take up a contraposition. And the rest of them. The other sentence about argument is an intellectual process. Contradiction is just the automatic gainsaying of anything the other person says. Okay? These are a few of the long sentences in this video. Alright. And then, the man rings the bell. Right? Says good morning. Want to end the conversation. He asked the M to pay. Said 5 minutes is up. Was it 5 minutes just now? The video altogether is 2.5 minutes. Okay? After pause, A said, if you want me to go argue, you have to pay for another 5 minutes. Did and paid. Did he pay? Okay. Immediately after he paid, A denied, right? He said, I'm sorry, but I'm not allowed to argue unless you have paid. He denied he had received the money, and then they continued to contradict with each other back and forth. In the end, there's a joke. Okay, M said, take a look. M said, okay, all right, I got you. He said, if I did not pay you, why would you continue to argue with me? And in the end, A said, because I can argue at my spare time. Okay, finished? All right. Do we feel like watching the 2.5 minutes video again? Not really, okay, we can move on. Very good. That's the benefit of having great students. Okay. So here are some lines of sentences we got about argument. Right? And then more. This video is called Argument Clinic. If you're interested, you can search. It's made by Mentapathan comic. Okay. Now when mentioned about argument, some of us, the first impression might be this, because we argue, right? Comes from the verb argue. When people argue, what would happen? They look like this. Right? Obviously, this is not what we're going to do in our class for the rest of the semester, nor in our daily life. So there's another explanation about what's argument from Macmillan, a set of reasons that you use for persuading others to support your views, opinions, etc. In this sense, did we hear any argument in the video just now? Did we hear any argument? Yes, no? Did we hear any argument in the sense of view and opinion, establishing view and opinion? Obviously not, right? I trust that we can do better than these two gentlemen. Let's try to make argument by our own. Let's try to start by establishing a proposition or a view and opinion. I have an opinion. I believe everybody would agree with me. And it's very simple. Take a look. In the morning, did you drink milk? Do you like milk? Yes, of course, right? So my claim is very simple. My opinion is very, very simple. I just want to say milk is good. You may say, that's so obvious. There's nothing to argue about, right? But if I argue with my 4-year-old daughter and try to persuade her to drink milk every day, she will be confused. Why? Right? Why it is good. So help me to prove this very simple statement. Or if you meet an alien coming from another planet who do not eat any kind of human food, right? Explain to this alien why milk is good. Why? It's nutritious, good. It's cheap. It's getting more expensive. Depending on the quality of the milk, right? But I like that. Yeah. Okay, it prevents you from dehydrating because it's a form of water, liquid.
It can make you healthy and you can have better skin.
Oh, okay, that's very important.
Experts said that milk helps you to sleep.
Very good. Milk help people to sleep. Milk is very healthy, right? Very good. Milk is very nutritious. Why is milk healthy and nutritious? My 4-year-old would not understand these things. Why? Very good. It's rich. It's rich in. Actually, can I have another microphone so this can pass along to our classmates? It's rich in calcium. Very, very good. Okay. Vitamins. What else milk is good for? What good nutrients? What good other good nutrients? Calcium, milk. Yes, protein. Very good. Okay. What does protein do? Why is protein good?
Essentials for your body to grow, to
Yes.
sustain your body, and mechanism of the body.
Exactly. Exactly. So everybody, we all need milk, right? And why it is good? You provide way better answers than I do. I only provide one here. When you answer the question, it contains a lot of protein. I only pick one aspect. But we can make the same statements, continuous statements about calcium, about prevent dehydrated and everything. Now, the next question we have answered is why a lot of protein is good. You already provided me the answer, right? Because this goes back to our high school biological classes. How many of us are science students sitting here? Because those are body tissues and muscles. There are other ways you can explain the idea. But anyway, we have then sample argument. Now I can explain to my little girl that you should take milk, right? As a daily necessity. We form a sample argument. This sample argument has one claim. Obviously. And if you take a look, this sample argument is consistent of this claim and everything else. This everything else is the support to this claim. Okay? In the future, replace that claim with anything else. But argument always consists with claim and its support. You will find that claim is just a sentence. Support is the majority part of the body of argument. So that's the key. Take a look into support. If we break down support into different elements, there are usually two. One is we call evidence, two is what we call warrant. Take a look. Okay. We have all three of them in this sentence, in this sample argument. Okay. Here, right? Now, claim is usually what we say, what we want to prove eventually. You can claim anything, as long as you can prove it. You can claim that the moon is made from cheese, as long as you can provide evidence. And your evidence is a foundation. Based on what do you believe that your claim is true? Not only doing these, the first two, the last very important thing called warrant, it's, in other words, reasoning or inference. If anyone has been taking TOEFL or GRE exam, you need to write. there are at least two essays you need to write. One of the essays is in nature of argumentative writing. In the instructions, in illiterate wording, it will say, provide the inference to your opinion. Okay? So it's similar to the reasoning. It's a process to prove, to connect your argument, connect your claim with your evidence. This is not created by me. This is first proposed by Stephen Tuman, a contemporary philosopher who devoted his whole life in the study of reasoning, rational argument, and the three elements of the argument is a simplified version of Tuman model. And we use it widely in all kinds of academic areas, including speaking and writing. This is another way to take a look into the argument. If we translate it into Chinese, which not only keep us awake, but also make us understand, easier to understand the meaning. This is the translation of the different words in the argument, within the argument, unit of the argument. So it's unit of reason. You propose a point or a claim. You provide evidence. You're trying to tell people why your evidence proves your claim. Okay? All right. Now, in the classes, the previous classes, your fellow schoolmate I taught, this is the biggest question. They say, I understand claim, I understand evidence. I do not quite understand warrant. There is metaphoric way to explain warrant. If you have a pack of milk, walk into a supermarket, buy a pack of milk, you'll find that on the package it says, the milk is best before a certain date. So that's like a warrant. With the warrant, the milk is good. So a warrant to argument is that as long as you have that, your argument is good. Your claim is good. Of course, there are more to talk about this warrant, but that's the metaphoric way to understand what's warrant. It's like a guarantee. You must have it. Now, let's spend a little bit more time talking about warrant. There are two questions. Essentially, one helps us understand what's warrant. Simply answer the question, why does your evidence matter? Or, why does your evidence prove your claim? Show me how. Anything that can answer the question is your warrant. Keep that in mind. The reason why warrant is so confusing sometimes is that from the very beginning, we need to make a distinction, understanding that warrant sometimes can be unstated. So, let's take a look at an example of unstated warrant. Now, learning argument not only apply in classrooms, but also in our daily life as well. In our daily life, every day we make all kinds of argument or claims. Let's take a look at this one. Imagine that I have a claim. I say, this hotel is on fire. Imaginary. Okay. It's on fire. And that's a claim of fact. Right? And next the question is what? Why, right? Remember why? Why? Based on what would you say so? I would say, I stand downstairs over there in a square, I see thick smoke coming out of the window. Then, the unstated word is that the argument can stop here. People would support what you said. People would believe in what you said. Make sense? But if you want to take this as an academic perspective of viewing classroom, you can also try to answer the question, why does the thick smoke matter? Okay? And what's the connection between thick smoke and fire? Obviously, we all know, because thick smoke is the sign of fire. However, you do not have to say that. It could be unstated. You do not have to turn around to people to say, you know, thick smoke is sign of fire. Right? In our daily life, we make all kinds of claims. Sometimes we do not have to prove that with no word, but this is a natural rule. Pay attention. Okay. There are other occasions that we do not need to provide warrant, but it needs to be either natural law or very powerful statistics, or it could be a common sense everybody, your audience would acknowledge without any problem. However, in our class, most of the time, we would want us to come up with words. It's good to know the distinction, but we would especially focus on how to come up with a warrant. Another example from daily life about why warrant is or must be needed. Imagine you have a roommate called Jerry, right? One day Jerry's friend comes, trying to find him, but he's not in the dormitory. His friend asks you, "Where's Jerry?" You said you make the claim, "Jerry must be at the swimming pool." The friend would ask, "Why?" You provide the evidence. You say, "It's Sunday afternoon." Now this is the occasion and you must link the time and the location. So you probably would say, right, we can answer those questions by ourselves now, right? Why does Sunday afternoon matter? What's the connection between the time and the location? The warrant must be stated. You would say, Jerry has the habit of going swimming every Sunday afternoon. His friend would say, oh, okay, I'll look for him at the swimming pool. One more slide about reasoning, an extra slide I want to add here, just very briefly. Just now, the example we displayed is what we call deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is trying to prove an example from a general rule. So the example there is one Sunday afternoon. The rule is the habit of Jerry going to swimming every Sunday afternoon. There is another way of reasoning. Imagine you have a friend. Your friend Melissa bought a box of eggs and a bad eggs. The evidence is that Melissa randomly picked up 3 different eggs and found that they are all bad. Now, will Melissa continue to cook the egg in daily life? No, for the reason of food safety, right? Because she would assume that all of the eggs in the box, they're all bad. The reason why? What's the connection between the 3 eggs and a box of bad eggs? The connection is, yes? Induction. Yes, that's right. Okay. This is what we say inductive reasoning, exactly the opposite way. The inductive reasoning is trying to draw a conclusion from one example. You will find that inductive reasoning, a lot of times they are assumptions, because you will not break the 10x, every one of them, you just throw them away, right? But they're very reasonable assumptions. In daily life, we use that a lot as well. For example, in court, at the court, for the judge or the jury trying to define if the person is guilty or not, right? Anyway, that's an extra slide. So what we have shown just now is a simple argument model. A simple argument model means one piece of claim, one piece of evidence, one piece of warrant. Okay? Every argument we talked just now, the fire, Jerry or Melissa. Or if we combine warrant and the evidence together, it looks like this. But we would acknowledge that we cannot prove everything just by 3 sentences. Right? It's far from enough. And we will not talk about milk and egg every time. So let's move on. But before we move on, I want to make sure that everybody, we have a mind map there about the structure of argument. They are claim and evidence and what is warrant? What is the question in mind? Why does evidence matter? That's right. Why does evidence matter? Why does evidence prove the claim? Whatever answers that question is your warrant. Alright? With that in mind, let's move on. Okay. And another claim. Take a look. This time, we talk about drunk driving. Harsh penalty. It's effective to reduce drunk driving. The case is about drunk driving. I have a piece of evidence. This is my claim. Okay. Yes. The way to develop an argument, as we did just now, is to continue to ask the question why, right? Okay. I have a piece of evidence here. Take a look. We're saving time. I'm not going to read. Finish? Finish? Yes? Okay. Now, this is a piece of data, right? What is the warrant question for this claim? Why does the evidence matter? Why does this data matter, right? What's the connection between the data and the claim? Right? When you take a look at these data, do you think it's powerful? Do you think it's effective? See, 43.7%. When people see that number, they see there's a significant drop. It really is effective, right? Okay? So if you say, yeah, I think that's pretty strong enough, right? Just the data speak for itself. If you do not continue to provide a warrant here, it's acceptable. Now, but of course, you can always complete the chain of analysis to provide your warrant. Your warrant will try to explain, yes, could be like this. The data shows, why does that matter? Because it shows the enforcement of harsh penalty has taken effect to significantly reduce drunk driving in China. Right? You do not have to have that sentence, but if you have that, you still have a simple argument model. Now, I want to prove, or let's prove this claim in another way. Imagine you do not have data, right? How would you argue for this claim? Why? Based on what would you say it is effective? Why? Any idea? Or dear class?
Psychologically speaking, people are scared. This is called a deterrent fact.
Very good. I like that word, deterrent fact, right? But let's put it in a simple way, because people are scared. Yes, very good. Okay. They don't want to be punished, obviously. Okay, all right. So instead of data, we'll provide another piece of evidence. Take a look. It's not natural rule, like fire and 6 smoke, right? It's no data. It's about fear. It's about emotion. It's abstract. Okay? It's too abstract. In this sense, you'll find that your evidence is almost like a new claim, a statement that you will first need to explain and prove, and then to continue, right? Okay, let's do that. Now, if you're not familiar with the terms, you just ask yourself why and answer the question, okay? If this is a new claim, according to our model, we need to come up with new evidence and new warrant for this new claim. Make sense? So, what's the evidence for this new claim? Or why? Why people fear harsh punishment?
Because they may be put into prison, because they may lose precious time that they could have spent with their family, because they may get a fine, they may lose money, or a lot of things.
Exactly. How many of us here drive, right? When you get the tickets, this is not drunk driving, right? But when we drive on road, we have that line, right? In our heart, we should not break the rule in this or that way, otherwise we will get punished. Even if 200 yuan, right? 3 credit. No, let's not do that. Yes, very good, very good. So that's a good answer to the question, similar to what has been said, because harsh punishment will bring people severe financial loss, stress, damage your reputation, and other things that we have mentioned just now. Very good. Okay? So your evidence answers the question of why people fear harsh punishment. Now, the simple argument model asks us to continue to provide a warrant. Is this warrant stated or unstated? What is the warrant question? The warrant question is that why harsh punishment bring people bad effect matter, right? What's the connection between these two? Is this, in your opinion, is the word stated or unstated? Could it be unstated? Should be stated. Okay. So stated. What's the warrant?
I think it is stated because it mentioned harsh punishment for people, financial loss, stress, damage of reputation. So all of them are negative words. It means harsh punishment brings negative effects on people's life.
Okay, thank you. Does everybody agree with so many classmates here? How many of us think it should be stated? Raise your hand. 2, 3, 4. You're very careful thinkers. Now see, this is a simple way, right? For you to judge whether the argument, or whether you should provide the warrant. Because every person's standard of judging and reasoning might vary, might be different. So unstated warrant only occur when you do not have hesitation. If you have hesitation, you state it, make you feel better, right? And will not hurt the whole structure. If you think without hesitation, right? Think it's okay, then you can leave it there. However, you should also discuss with other people. Ask people around you, think it is okay? They may have different opinion, all right? So there's not a standardized answer here. Now I could understand if you say it should be stated, right? Or it's okay to leave it there. If you want to complete this chain, now this is the warrant I give of the new claim. Obviously, nobody likes to suffer from these damages, the losses and everything. All right? Okay? And that's a knowledge that's known by everybody. Okay? Now, we have the new claim. In the middle, we have the simple argument model here. However, that's the ultimate claim up there. So this new claim is only the evidence part of the big structure. What do we still need? What do we still need? Claim, evidence, and a warrant. We will need a warrant between the new claim or evidence and the claim. Is this unstated warrant or not? In your opinion, should be stated or unstated? Do you make that decision without hesitation? All right, I hear different answers from you. All right, okay. Let's complete this chain. All right, let's make it into a stated warrant, because even unstated warrant, you can add warrant, right? It's just the warrant is very obvious to everybody, in your opinion. So what's the very obvious warrant if you say it can be unstated? What's the warrant between people feel harsh punishment and harsh penalty is effective? What's the connection between these two? What's the connection between people's fear and the effectiveness of the policy? What would happen when people fear? They will protect themselves. Yes. They would have a second thought before they drunk and drive. Very good. Okay? Now, would they want to commit this kind of, no, it's illegal, right? Illegal conduct? No. So you can say, people would avoid drunk driving to be free from penalty. Okay? Take a look. I know we probably need a moment here. But anyway, yes. We could see the chain of statements, right? If we put that into a map, look like this. So you have a claim, you have the evidence as a new claim, You will need to provide new evidence and warrant to prove your new claim, and provide an alternate warrant between the new claim and your claim. Like tongue twister. Keeps me awake. Alright? This is what we call a chain argument model. So it depends on what you claim, how big you claim, and what evidence you provide. Okay? Or it could be like this. So we're moving along the way. From simple argument model to come to a chain argument model, but it's not enough. I have a new claim here. Take a look. Nowadays, we're trying to promote the use of electricity cars, for example, right? I have two evidence. My evidence one is renewable energies produce no air pollution or toxic byproducts. My second evidence is oil reserves will run out in 50 years. Okay, all right, take a look. One thing is lacking in this slide, that is, we have claim, we have evidence, but we do not have warrant. Let's take a look. What's the warrant for this evidence? What's the warrant question?
Why air pollution or toxic byproducts are bad? Air pollution or toxic byproducts are bad.
Why they are bad? All right. Thank you. Good. More? What's the warrant question?
They will cause disease to human beings.
When you say they, you mean what?
The air pollution and toxic byproducts.
Air pollution and toxic byproducts. What about the rest of us? Do we have to think a minute? Have an answer in our mind, right? We do not have time.
Renewable energies are better because they are better. They produce no air pollution. Yes, they are better than those traditional energies.
Very good. Now when you think about the answer, I want to stress, there is not a standardized answer. When I ask everybody to say, think in your own mind, I'm not expecting you to say one sentence and that's it. You can way as well provide your own way of warrant as long as you explain the connection between the evidence and the claim, right? So in general, I would prefer, if I were to choose from these three different answers, I would prefer this one, because this answer here talks about renewable energy. The previous two answers focus more on pollution and toxic byproducts. So if you want to establish the connection, you still focus on renewable energy, right? And what mentioned here should be promoted. So yes, it could be using renewable energy could help to protect the environment. It's good, so it should be promoted. Make sense? But of course, if you want to talk more about pollution or toxic byproducts, you can do so. But make sure to come back to renewable energy. So you can develop a paragraph. That's okay, right? Second warrant. This is a piece of data. Yes.
According to the second evidence, the warrant could be there are very realistic conflicts over oil, either domestically or internationally. So if we can be free from this starvation of oil, we can have more choices, or maybe the more peaceful environment internationally, or maybe more national security.
I appreciate your way of thinking. You have big vision. You're trying to come up with quite a bit of things, including national security, right? Yes, oil resources is reflected is related to our national strengths, right? Okay.
We need renewable energies because oil reserves would run out. If we don't use renewable energies, what else could we do? We need new energies.
Listen to these ideas and you can think and judge by yourself. Just like asking a question.
So my warrant is with the usage of renewable energies, we can stop those fossil fuels from running out so soon. That's it.
Okay, very good. Yeah, very good. See, whether it's an answer about focused on renewable energy and shortage or a broader analysis, right, about the connection, I think we're trying to address the issue about, so it's good to have renewable energy to counter with the energy crisis, problem energy crisis. It's a little bit broad, right, with the different words you mentioned just now. But if you want to continue to develop that, continue to link that with the concept you mentioned later, you can, gentlemen. Right? It's just that you will need more paragraph analysis. Remember, it's your burden of proof. You can claim anything as long as you can prove it, right? Once you claim it bigger, then you will need to provide more things. Okay. Let's try and find that. What did I put? Okay. Thank you. Okay. And not a standardized answer, just the one way I provided. Basically it means, so renewable energy is good to counter the energy crisis. Okay? This is what we call a convergent argument model. A convergent argument model looks like this. So you have two pieces of evidence, each evidence has one word. But both evidences pointing to the same claim look like this. Okay? And look like this. Alright. In our class, still not enough. Our goal is ultimately, we want to come up with good, complex argument model. So it could combine all of these, and could be more than these, depending on what you want to claim or prove, depending on what kind of evidences you will come up with. Always remember your burden of proof. Okay? In the end, how many minutes do I still have? Really? Okay. Alright. Let's work together. I think this is more delightful, right? The tiring afternoon. Let's talk early about our supper. Let's talk about Chinese cuisine. Everybody's expert. Let's try to prove this point. Do you agree? Yes, of course, right? Why? Give me some reason. Give me why. Give me your evidence. Why is good? Relax. We're talking about food, right? Because it's tasty. Tasty, obviously. Where's the microphone? Yes. Yes.
Chinese cuisine values aroma, color, and so on. It will arouse people's appetite.
Okay. Arouse people's appetite. It does, yes.
The techniques that are involved in Chinese cooking are diversified. It is not just the high temperature cooking which destroys the nutrition specs of certain kinds of food. It involves lots of boiling, and it reduces oil.
Very good. Okay. I think I heard, the keyword I heard is a different way of cooking method. I like boiling or steaming. Yes.
I think we are talking about Chinese cuisine, so we need to compare it with Western cuisines.
Okay.
So I would agree with the speaker just now that Chinese cuisine is good because it is different from Western cuisine, because in some way it looks better, and in some way it's more delicious, and it has more variety, and most importantly, we have a long history.
Long history.
Much longer history than then maybe those Western cuisines, which means that we are the food.
Yes.
But the traditional Chinese food they are better.
Okay. I already feel miserable to vision my life in the US without Chinese food. Okay, that will keep me coming back. Okay, I heard different things, right? Different cooking method, variety, okay? At least the two things this lady mentioned, variety and the long history, culture, right? Okay, very good. Anything else? The materials.
Flavoring.
What ingredients? What material?
The materials involving Chinese cooking because of the vast geographic locations of China, we have much more choices when it comes to the material.
What kind of choices?
In terms of vegetables, Westerners are very focused on very limited vegetable choices. The ones that we're familiar with can be carrots, parsley,
yes,
and radish, something like that. But in China, even the northern area and the southern area are quite different cooking materials.
Yeah, different cooking. When you prepare China and the West, right? Now within China, we have a good variety, right?
Yes.
Very good variety. Explain the variety. What about the variety? I heard the different cooking method, right?
Yes.
But that's a different variety.
Yes.
When you talk about
let's take vegetables as an example. We have completely different vegetable choices or selections once you're in the northern part of China or the southern part of China.
Okay, all right. Within our country, we have a variety of vegetables. Take vegetables as an example, right? We eat other food as well. There are a lot of ladies here. I imagine vegetables very popular in this room. But gentlemen, they like different food, right? Protein, milk, steak, and anything else. Very good. We can come along, with a long list of why Chinese cuisine is good. Ultimately, we come from China, right? This is how we fed from very little. So at least there's three things we have mentioned just now. One is that variety. Okay. Your variety is slightly different from the variety mentioned here, but you can make your own evidence, no problem. Here the variety means itself, within the cuisine itself, there's a variety of different kinds of raw materials. Second one resembles to what this lady has said, different cooking methods and flavors. And the third one is what this lady in the front, who's working very hard to videotape, right? I feel like I want to help to hold the camera for you. But anyway, she has mentioned that because we have long history, we have culture. We have three different pieces of evidence. You will find that which one? The third one is abstract. The first two, you can see, you can smell, you can eat, right? You know what it is then. So let's take a look at the first two evidences. What is lacking? What is lacking in the simple argument model? Warrant. Very good. What's the warrant question? Exactly. Very good. I see most of us. So being able to answer the question very quickly. Why does variety matter? So, please answer the question. Why does variety matter? You can create your own answer. Why does variety matter? That means you have more choices.
Variety means that we will have more, our body needs all kinds of nutrition and varieties of raw materials ensures that.
Definitely. Just we only talk about milk and protein, right? Vegetable, vitamin, what else? The minerals and carbohydrate, not fat. But fat is essential as well. Just not too much. Okay? Yes, very good. Explain from the perspective of nutrition. Okay. Now, again, it's not a fixed answer, standardized answer. But you can explain the variety from the perspective of nutrients. Now, because of the size of the page, I provide only one sentence after evidence or word, especially word, but you can develop that into a paragraph. Okay? You can continue to explain what kind of material has what kind of nutrient and why that nutrient matter. Next one. What's the word question? What's the word question? Why does rich in flavor and cooking methods matter? Why? You actually have answered the question partly.
Because we're talking about what we eat. It matters because we're talking about food. We're talking about what we eat. People want to enjoy what they eat.
Okay. So what's the connection between enjoyment and rich in flavor or cooking method?
Different people have
different people have different preference. Okay. For example, one of my favorites is soybean. Products made from soybean. Right? But maybe that's not the cup of tea for others. Okay. But that's about raw material. Okay. Here is in flavor and cooking method. Some people like deep fried chicken wings. Yes. Some people like spice. Some people like dessert. I know Shashan likes desserts very much. Dr. Shang still like desserts. See, I'm a person who do not have a sweet tooth. I would prefer low sugar, sugar-free diet. But anyway, see, you have that rich, that flavor, different flavor and cooking method. Yes. You ask the question, why does that matter? Because it provides people different choices. Why choice is important? You can continue to explain, right? If we do not have choices, imagine you're eating rice and rice only every day. Noodle only every day. You talk about enjoyment, right? You can make a connection. We definitely want to have more choices in anything, and especially in food. And it's great that we are in China. It's easy for us to satisfy that need. Okay, the third. Take a look. It's a new claim, it's abstract. How would you prove this claim? What's your evidence? Evidence is why. So why? Based on what would you say it represents Chinese culture? In what aspect it represents Chinese culture? What Chinese culture it represents?
a very important part. A very important part, actually, the most significant part.
Very important, most significant part.
Nobody can live without eating, and in China we have this long history. We have developed all different. For example, in Guangdong they have local cuisines there, and so local cultures are part of Chinese culture consists of different local cultures of different parts of China, and all this means that our cuisine is a very, very important part of our life, our culture.
Yes. When it comes to culture, you just have a lot of things to say, right?
Yeah,
It's just
so
at the
many
tip of the
things.
tongue, so many things.
So many things came to my mind that.
Yeah, I heard one phrase you mentioned just now. For example, see this lady trying to reason from an example. She mentioned from which province? Guangdong province. Okay. If we would develop that line of analysis, we can continue to give an example about what kind of food in Guangdong represents their local culture, Chinese culture. If not in Guangdong, we come from all part of our nation, right? Can we think about some examples? We are what we eat. Yes. Focus on Chinese culture, right? So who are we? We are eating what kind of food that is so typical to define us to be Chinese?
For example, 满汉全席.
Yeah, that's very good appetite, right? Whoever come up with that. Yes.
We are Chinese, and most of the Chinese share the character of being shy, delicate, And so in terms of food, most of the Chinese food can be delicate. And in terms of flavor, because I study a little bit of cooking technique and flavoring, it is a combination of thousands of flavors in once served in one course. So it takes time for you to actually understand the course. It is not that straight up presentation of the stuff like most of the Western food, especially fast food. So it involves slow cooking, as the soup can take hours to boil or to boil, and it involves hundreds of people to cook just the one meal. Because in some of the traditional dishes in the rural parts of China, it is a ritual to actually cook the food. So family matters. This is a Chinese value, and it is part of this value. That's why it is important and it's good.
I really appreciate this lady. She has very quick response, and she has very good brainstorming of many good ideas. One thing to make your analysis even better is that first you're trying to focus one thing at a time, right? Now I think it's good. It's good that we come up with multiple different ideas, but pay attention. The more you claim, the more you need to provide to prove your claim. For example, when you mentioned at the very beginning, you say Chinese people has the character of being shy, right? Okay, you say most Chinese people has that character. You're making new claims under this claim again, right? Proving that you will need to provide more evidence and more warrant, and you also need to pay attention to relevance. So even if you prove Chinese people are shy, how much does that help you to prove the idea it represents Chinese culture, right? How does that reflect it in food in particular? But I appreciate that you mentioned about national character. You mentioned about family value. You mentioned about ritual in different occasions. Yes. What family value? Now see, one thing to get you through these abstract topics is that to make that conceptualized, to make that more concrete in things that we can imagine, we can see. Now culture is abstract, but food is very realistic, right? What kind of food can represent our Chinese culture? Can we name a few?
Dumplings, for example.
Very good. And Jing, very good. That's your favorite? Yes. Traditional Chinese food, right?
Yes.
Very good.
Traditional Chinese festivals are
right?
connected to traditional Chinese food.
The closest one is the Dragon Boat Festival. We had it just in June, right? What do we eat? Yes, donzi. Okay, all right, there are more. Mooncake as well. Yes? Given just only one example, let's talk about mooncake. All right? Okay. What culture, the Chinese culture does mooncake represent? Family reunion, very good. Now you mentioned about mooncake and family reunion, you mentioned the shape. I have a much more clear idea about Chinese culture in food, right? If you tell me about all the things else, yes, one after the other, I don't need to think. If you tell me mooncake, I get an image. I can immediately connect this image with the value image. Same thing with dumpling. Okay. Time-wise, let's take a look. Now, we can develop our own way to prove the claim. Here is one version I provided. Is that my evidence for the new claim is I mentioned 3 different examples. Exemplification. It's a very common way of warranting for generalization in reasoning. Now I want to provide dumplings and mooncake, right? But I add one more thing. It's the elaboration of the example. Because I cannot just say dumpling and that's it. I will want to explain what is dumpling. So the elaboration of the dumpling example is that dumpling is what kind of food people eat at what time. Especially if I talk to people from a different cultural background. Now the next one, this is the evidence. Take a look, all right? Okay. Now the word for that one is, what's the connection between dumpling and Chinese culture? Because now I just want to prove it represents Chinese culture. Make sense? So the connection is that it bears the meaning of family reunion and hope of the new year of Chinese people. The next 2 examples are the same. So here's the elaboration of the don't example. What is it? When do we eat it? Okay? Is the elaboration. And why does don't matter to Chinese culture? Because it helps people to memorize the spirit of patriotism and loyalty of Juan, or patriotism of us as a nation. The next one is saying, okay? Elaboration about the mooncake example. What is it? When do we eat it? And then, what's the connection of mooncake and Chinese culture? Make sense? Okay? Now, a lot of people will stop here. A lot of people will stop here. They may not even come to this far. But one thing is missing. In order to prove that Chinese cuisine is good, what is it? Speak louder. Warrant, right? What is the warrant question? Why does it? What is it? Yes. Why does Chinese culture matter? Okay. Why does Chinese culture in food matter? Because we're not just making an argument about culture. We're connecting that with food, right? So why does food has culture meaning matter? I can just say I like ice cream. Just make me happy, right? Marshmallow does not have to have long history and culture. I think it's still good. My daughter will probably agree. So what's the warrant?
Different cuisines can enrich the people's spirit in life.
Different cuisines enrich people's different life. Have a moment with yourself and think. That's probably painful. It's been a long session, right? But think. The more painful, the more rewarding this process is. Prepare an answer of your own. Thank you. Why does food carry culture meaning matter? It's a window to know people about this culture. Yes. Professor Wang. 5 minutes. Okay, all right. I thought I'm not that attractive, right? Very happy. Professor Wang have an answer.
Well, I think culture is something you can feel more when you are not in this country. So especially for foreigners, the richness of the Chinese food can represent the richness of Chinese culture. So that's why I think one reason.
The richness of Chinese food represents the richness of Chinese culture.
For me, I think culture, to talk about culture is more abstract, but cuisine is something that you can touch, you can feel, and you can taste. So make it very detailed, very realistic.
Okay, very good. The different perspectives. So this gentleman trying to prove it's more accessible. It's effective for us to understand the culture when we taste the food, right? So you want to argue, I think potentially if you continue that line, you will say it's a very good way to promote Chinese culture, or to spread Chinese culture, or to maintain Chinese culture. Very good. Okay? Here is about represents Chinese culture. I think your answer have a step further. When you say promote, preserve, maintain, you're taking action. When you say present, you reflect on an objective situation. Make sense? Yes? Okay? Do we all have the answer? Why does food and culture really matter? Yes.
Before I can offer you a warrant, I want to ask the question, what is good? What is the standard? Maybe that will help us to go back to the point why something represents Chinese culture can make it good.
But very good question, right? This is a question about your value, about your standard. Okay? Now, when you answer the question over there, you say represents Chinese culture, carrying on Chinese culture, you're actually trying to incorporate some of that answer to your value. But you can state that, my criteria of define a good food is that it's not only satisfy people's stomach, but it also can bring people enjoyment, not just for survival. Right? We want food to have its meaning beyond its sense of survival, providing people ways to survive. That's a very good question. Okay? In our later classes, we'll have detailed discussion about that. Right? But I pick up an example. I think that we will all have things to say at this point, and when we mention that, we will understand why it is good. Take a look. This is just one version. It might not be, it's definitely not perfect, not standardized. You can take a look. Chinese cuisine with culture meaning represents the social customs or rituals passed down through generations from our ancestors. When people eat food with culture meanings, the significance of eating goes beyond survival or simple enjoyment. Chinese cuisine is good in this sense because it helps to maintain and spread the good traditional values of Chinese culture, like love of family, loyalty to our country, respect of nature represented in dumplings, stones, and mooncake. Did we see the connection? Now I trust that you can provide better answers than I do in the future about warrant. But anyway, what I want to show us is really a process of reasoning. This is only the third claim, and how we're trying to prove that claim. There must be other ways, other evidence we can come up, but this is what happened just now. You say it's a combination of chain and conversion, argument, model. And this is only the third one. If we go back to the ultimate claim that the Chinese cuisine is good, we have three pieces of evidences. Oh, this is still the third one. Oh no, this is the ultimate one, okay? We have evidence 1, evidence 2, evidence 3. Take a look. So eventually in our class, we're trying to develop more complex argument model. And we're going to claim bigger. Next week, we're not going to talk about food anymore. Although I enjoy the discussion very much. Okay? The bigger you claim, it's like a tree. The deeper this root will become. Okay. A review, we actually only talk about two things. Essentially one thing, that is argument. We started from simple argument model, moved to conversion, and then moved to chain, and then moved to complex. I want to say it's not fixed. The model is not fixed, but the requirement is the same. Some reminders. You can claim anything as long as you can prove it. You claim bigger, you have bigger burden of proof, you develop more complex argument model, and remember to ask why. I understand we still need to take time to digest what we have talked about today, but if you feel confused, if you do not remember those terms and process, just ask yourself why and answer the question. A good argument is until the point you do not have more why questions, because you think all have been answered. Okay? Next week, we're going to take a detailed look into each of these argument elements. So more about claim, more about evidence, more about warrant in specific. I look forward to seeing everybody next week. Thank you very much.
那我们也请李老师留步。谢谢李老师为大家做了一个非常精彩的报告，他对论辩的各个元素都进行了非常详细的拆解，相信大家对 warrant 这个概念也形成了非常鲜明的理解。那现在我们也请李老师留步，看大家有没有提问，如果有的话，请举手示意，我会过来递话筒。